Welcome and good morning. This is CrossFire. My name is Dr. Banjo, and I have with me running the show, as usual, Barrister Ishoma Aga-Ine.
Good morning, Nigerians, and you're welcome to the show today. All
right, with the trending story of the activities of South Africans against other nationals in South Africa. For the very first time, Nigeria is making a loud noise, calling for the quick arrest or summoning of the Zulu, the king of Zulu, to a particular forum so that they can come and answer for the activities around the xenophobic attack against other nationals in South Africa. Anyway, that will not be forming the basis of our story today. There is a bit of a diversification, and we'll be looking at that very intensely. We're not alone in the studio. We have a gentleman that has been invited to just come and throw more light on the state of agriculture in Nigeria. And now this is a very good question that a lot of Nigerians will want to find answers to. Can agric come back to become Nigeria's economic mainstay? Can we substitute agriculture to become the major mainstay of Nigerian economy? And this and all the questions will be answered on the show today. We have Mr. Shola Obikanye, is a registered animal scientist. Shola Obikanye is a career banking executive with valuable experience in relationship management, credit analysis and processing, and product development, and even management. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in agriculture from Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. Prior to joining the banking sector, he had worked as an agronomist and project manager with commendable experience in agricultural programs, planning and evaluation programs for target communities. While working with the government, Mr. Obikanye has been a part of veritable team that was charged at various times with the responsibility of implementing the federal government policy on WUA, that's Water User Association, and PIM, Participatory Irrigation Management. His post-qualification career to date has involved both government, private, and corporate practices in agricultural projects and finance management, administration, marketing, and sales. He is well acquainted with the processes of information and data gathering, processing, and analysis in both urban and suburban communities in Nigeria. As a banker, Mr. Obikanye has brought his experience to bear on agricultural finance and product development, credit initiation and processing, excellent relationship management. And then we'll be looking at a few other things as we go on in the show. Welcome, Mr. Shola Obikanye, to Crossfire.
Thanks for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right. As a matter of fact, on the show, we've been dealing with political issues, topical, controversial over time. But this is a bit of a digress, on the show. And that is knowing exactly the position of agriculture in Nigeria. And a lot of people are beginning to wonder, now that we have a very bad dip in the global price of oil, and it's affecting the projection in terms of monetary projection and budgeting in Nigeria. Everybody is beginning to think, can't we go back to agriculture? Now, what is the state of agriculture in Nigeria as at today?
Well, thank you very much, Dapo. To a veritable extent, you may not be able to appreciate the state of agriculture in Nigeria today, especially when you talk about the effort of the government to revamp this critical sector and bring it back to the mainstream, until you go back a little bit into history. So I'll crave your indulgence that you allow me to just do a cursory overview of where we were and how we came to this sorry pass in Nigeria. Well, we all know it's a story that is out there. I was trying to I was saying much earlier, just offline, that probably, arguably, second only to the game of football, the issue of agribusiness remains a passionate topic for discourse anywhere you go to. And that's because of the history we have had. We've all known that post-independence, pre-independence, agric was the mainstay. We were mainly agrarian in Nigeria. the various zones that we had, or the regions as they were called at the time, thrived on agricultural economy. And to a very large extent, post-independence, we were doing very fine. We made our name, we cut our teeth in agriculture. More people would find the center elite one attractive because of the well-being of the regions, and that's all because the mainstay for all the 3 or the 4 regions that we later came to have was agricultural economy. And so, to a large extent, we've had it. It has worked before, and we found the oil. I wouldn't know what to say about the boom, but I'd always love to call it the doom, because then our government's attention shifted from agriculture on a very fast and increasing basis, and we were concentrating on oil until we became a mono economy. Now, it was just all about going to drill the oil and to bring it out and then to sell. As a result of this, we've had situations where people who would not probably want to do the kind of work agriculture offers, but would get the easy money that oil now offers, will move in, from the rural areas where agriculture was mostly practiced at the time, to the suburban and the urban areas where the government are there, and petrodollars at the time was doing well. And so it was there that the structures that we built as a nation started crumbling. We had a situation where the commodities boards were scrapped. The farmers who would ordinarily have sold their commodities through the commodities board have now been exposed to the harsh realities or the market forces of demand and supply. And you had a situation where the subsistent farmer, the small-scale farmer, became hapless. He was helpless. He could not sell his product anymore. And so agriculture crumbled. That is apart from the fact that because the government did not have a strategic focus at the time, all our structures,
on agriculture specifically.
Yeah, of course, on agriculture. All our structures and everything just went, the way the cookie crumbles. So that's the challenge.
I have a question. Now, I understand very well that agriculture in all facets is one of the most effective ways of growing any economy,
Absolutely.
particularly in Nigerian economy.
Absolutely.
But do you think it to be possible for the new or the incoming administration to be able to effectively manage oil and gas and agriculture? And if you think that's possible, what do you think are the steps they need to take to restoring the glory of agriculture in Nigeria?
Thank you very much, Barrister. I think that we will do a great disservice to the previous government and, of course, the current outgoing government if we just talk about the incoming government.
Okay.
Since 2009 or thereabout, the successive governments that we have had, notably the government of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo spilling into the government of later Musa Yar'Adua, later Jonathan's government, have actually had a kind of continuum in their policy at their strategies at revamping the fortunes of the agricultural economy. The government has had some strategic intervention, because I need to quickly say this, that food security is national security.
Very true.
No government, no responsible government will leave its agricultural economy to go haywire without strategic intervention. Now, I hasten to say that does not mean that the government has to pay the bills for agric. Agriculture is agricultural business. It's more of business. But what lack of focus from previous government had done to it was that it had left it to its whims. There was no improvement. The research institutes were not funded. There were no enforcement of policies and laws. And as a result, we came to this. But since 2007, 2008, spilling up, we've had schemes and interventions of successive governments that have been aimed at ensuring that agri comes back, not just as the foundation or the basis for our economy, but as a viable business that can generate employment and make us what we used to be as it goes. So for this particular government, to answer your question, I think that they have no choice. If they do not have a strategy for government, I mean for agriculture, for agricultural policy, then I think that they have then laid a foundation for failure. Because, I mean, take a look at it. You're talking about managing our oil and gas with this. Oil and gas, the revenue is dipping by about 50%. And from every indication, given the analysis by international experts and even our own national experts, I don't think this oil thing is bound to rebound to its pristine position like we knew it or knew it to be till the next 50 years. Okay. So we need to have a strategic focus and a well-disciplined policy for agriculture.
All right, now, I mean, I haven't laid that foundation. I listened very, very well so that I can put the show in perspective.
Right.
I think the very basic information a lot of people are out there are waiting, to get, or some questions that they want answers to. I quickly will take this. Agriculture contributed about 41.84% to Nigerian GDP as of 2009. And the sector employs around 70% of the workforce. Yeah. The main agricultural goods produced are yam, cassava, peanut, millet, sorghum, rice, maize, okra, cocoa, palm oil, rubber, cattle, fish, and timber. I mean, a lot of products, that are being grown or that can grow on the soil, on our very soil. Absolutely. In Nigeria. Now, absolutely. I know the government, since 1999. Yeah. How would I have expected? Really, this just came to my mind, that with the then Operation Field the Nation launched by, former General Olusegun Obasanjo, and then he became the civilian president of Nigeria in 1999, how would I have expected that with his interest and deep understanding and with his interest, deep understanding, being a practice, farmer, you understand, he would have completely repositioned Nigeria, away from dependency on oil. And it would have done something very remarkable in the area of agriculture. I know that the reinvigoration process is ongoing, but it's taking like forever. 16 years, till date, and we haven't seen a Greek come alive again like it used to be. What exactly do you think the government has done or has not done why we haven't seen a Greek really aiming at taking over Nigerian economy?
Well, to be fair on General Olusegun Obasanjo, I will still mark him as one of my heroes of our Greek revolution in this country. Maybe we should probably discount his days in military government. By the way, I need to say that even when he was in the military, he was one of the greatest contributors. Now, I'm not a politician, but I'm just speaking. This is history. History will judge him fairly. He was one of the greatest contributors to agricultural revolution at the time. But when he came in during a civilian regime, like you've really said, he came in 1999, left 2007. He put in place the foundation upon which the bulk of the current programs of government are ongoing. Yes, we are impatient, but we should not forget the fact that we neglected this very sector for 4 decades. We dismantled our structures, we lost our positions in the export market, and even internally we became a dependent nation. When Buhari in his military years would come in, part of their coup speech was that we have now become a beggar nation because we now depend very heavily on food imports. So General Obasanjo did something that I believe was good, and then, of course, in the military days, that was when he banned quite a number of poultry products, for instance. Nigeria's poultry industry is strong, it's fledgling. Of course,
but we still import.
Yeah,
even down to chicken
grossly.
And poultry.
Anyway, we'll be going to importation, but we'll go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll be dealing with importation. We'll be dealing with a lot of institutions and structures that the government has put in place. Are they working? Can they support agriculture? Can they eventually reposition agriculture as Nigerian economic mainstay? When we come back, we'll be dealing with all of these things. We'll be right back.